displayed scene, there are 25 cubes colored black. Those cubes are the 3D objects we are trying to select to drag and drop later around the scene. We will refer to those cubes as targets. The red cubes are hindrances scattered across the scene. The problem with those hindrances is that some of them partially or completely hide some of the targets we want to displace, therefore making the selection of some of the targets difficult. Therefore, the technique of choice to drag and drop the targets relies on two modalities. The first is a visual modality that includes the gaze of the user and their head tilt. The second modality is touch, where we use the index finger to point at our desired object to displace. To elaborate further, the user uses their index finger to point at an object to select it in order to displace it later. While pointing at the object, the user directs their gaze at the object of choice. So the technique combines two pieces of information, where the user is pointing and where they are gazing in order to select an object. The user repeats this technique again. However, this time the user points and gazes at the location where the object they chose will be displaced, and the object transitions to that location. An experiment was conducted to collect a dataset that could be fed to a machine learning model. The machine learning model that will be explained later is going to help us to predict the location the user is pointing at in a crowded scene of 3D objects. The leap motion controller is a USB device that tracks the location of the hand relative to the controller's own origin. The origin of the controller lies at its center. The controller gives data about where the hand is in all three axes, X, Y, and Z. For the experiment, the distance between the tip of the user's index finger and the origin of the controller was recorded, as they pointed at a particular target. The participant was instructed to hover the right hand over the leap motion controller and point using their index finger at a particular cube, while staring at that cube. A camera was mounted on the screen to film the participants for analysis purposes that will be explained later. This experiment was conducted on 16 participants. The participant was instructed to gaze and point at each of the 25 targets, and each user repeated the experiment 3 times.